Good afternoon. Welcome back to United TV. Manchester United 2, AC Milan 4. Right, obviously a lot to talk about, and a match that I was away yesterday, so we didn't get to do a preview. And I think a lot of fans were looking forward to this match, mainly because Michael Carrick versus Ruben Amorim. I think AC Milan, I don't think AC Milan had actually won a pre-season match. So also Manchester United, few lackluster performances, but shipping 4 goals. I know it's pre-season, but conceding 4 goals is pretty poor. And good to see Maguire score early on. Good to see Dorgu take advantage of a mistake, but conceding 4 goals for me is a bit of a problem. And we have been talking about this recently, saying Man United look capable of scoring goals, but shipping 4 is is pretty rubbish, isn't it? So again, there's a link pinned in the comments. This will be a calling show to get people on to have your say as well. And Danny B said, I thought we'd lose, but not playing like that. Big to you, Danny. And people that are watching as well, Jules, and people that come on regular calling shows, please get involved. I'll go through some of the comments and then we'll take some of the calls. Rob Alls United, big up to you, Rob, says we need a left back so bad. And we've been saying it for ages, haven't we? And I almost get sick of saying it, but hopefully, I think Newcastle signed a left back. I'm not saying that's going to be something's happening, but you never know. You never know. Matty, big up to you in the comments. Matty says it's a reality check and say we need players. The worry is actually most of the teams, but most of the players were back. So if you look at the team we put out, you'd argue that it's pretty much a first team now. So we can't really say it's pre-season. I think you could say that if you look at the lineups, that okay, I think a few of the players are a bit rusty. It'd be good to see Benjamin Sesko back, but I looked at the AC Milan lineup before the game started, and I thought AC Milan don't look like an amazing team really. So I'll say this: I'm not panicking because it's pre-season, but it's not a good look for Man United losing this sort of stage of this amount, is it? Curtis said this weeks ago. Where is Jim Radcliffe and his boast about the so-called big summer? Well, it hasn't really been a big summer, has there? And welcome to the chat, Jules. Maybe Jules and Jules Jr. If you want to come on, link is there. Yeah, I don't want to mention. Unfortunately, we're going to have to mention Ruben Amorim in a little bit. And Danny B saying press is not the same when Bruno is in it. No, it's just different players on the pitch. Like it's going to have to find a way of trying to play well with Bruno because Bruno will be in the team most weeks. And Mo's big up to you. Good to see you in the chat, Mo. And Solly, good to see you. It's always. And Mickey said we all knew more was needed, so this isn't a surprise, is it? And say maybe the way it's happened is surprising, but we needed depth as well as quality, and that's not changed yet. I think most people knew we knew that we need a bit more depth as well, and there's no surprise regarding this one. And I mean, replacing Casemiro, I think it's just about the squad needs a bit of updating, doesn't it? Stephanie says we've got too many defensive midfielders in our squad. And Big D says, I told you last season Carrick has no style of play. I mean, the season hasn't started yet, Big D. So again, we'll get some call-ins and see what other people are thinking regarding this one. But there's a lot of comments to start with. Ollie Biscuit Barrel, good to see you, says, same old issue. We make Champions League ambition from the board goes. And so it must deflate the squad when everyone else is ambitious. So to be honest, though, the last 10 years we've seen exactly that, haven't we? So I can't disagree with any of that. We have seen that the last 10 years, Man United qualify for the Champions League and then don't spend too much money. Left back, right back, midfielders, a sporting goal, and a striker. Effectively, we're pretty much we're not massively different to the start of the transfer window, are we? That Agati got injured and Casemiro went. Apart from that, there has been no update really to the squad. Madison says shocking. We go on this one. I guess that Bruno might get a little bit of stick from some of the people in the comments today based on this one. Joe says failure to prepare is preparing to fail, and we are not ready for the season. Well, the season's starting, and whether Man United are ready or not, if they're not ready, then I think with this one, we're not going to be blaming Carrick, we'll be blaming the club. Scott says this was such an embarrassing loss, another Manchester United collapse, and Luke Shaw seems to be getting the most criticism. But we're going to get Neil on in a second and see if Neil agrees with some of these comments. But Luke Shaw getting a lot of stick in the chat as well. if anyone's got any positives, I guess it's going to be quite difficult to pick out positives from a 4-2 defeat by AC Milan and Ruben Amorim. And I mean, I think with this one, whatever your thoughts are, if you've got some positives or you just want to discuss the match, just click on the link. I will post it again, but it is pinned. If you want to go to the pinned comment, and that link will direct you onto the stream, and we will be able to chat. So let's get Neil on and see what Neil's thinking. Neil seems to be quite a laid-back fan normally. Welcome, Neil. It's the last game of the preseason, isn't it? How are you feeling about it? There's a lot of anger in the chat. I'll say that to start with.
How does that second goal out? He's miles offside. If that's not offside, well, in football might as well not bother the player. He's mile offside.
No, the problem is if you take one goal out, then you got 3 goals conceded. And Man United,
all right. Loftus-Cheek, his goal. Where was our fullback? Gone for a cup of tea? Terrible. They scored 4 bad goals. I don't give them any of their goals any good. They were terrible. Loftus-Cheek ran through. Where's our fullback? Gone for a cup of tea? Terrible.
What do you make of it then? Do you look at it and think we're not ready for the season, or
defensively, no. Defensively, we were shambolic, weren't we?
Yeah, I agree. The defense looks a bit ropey.
Everybody blamed Bruno, but it wasn't just even the defense. Where were they on the slate? I don't. You can't just blame a couple of players. It's a team game after all. And I'm sorry, but they were shambolic.
Yeah, Madison says all the goals from Luke Shaw's team. What do you think then? Let's say
no, I'm not having that. You can't just blame Luke. Where were the rest of the defenders?
No, when I was looking at it, the defense looked a bit shambolic.
No, they were, Rich. I'm sorry, but they were. But that's where it goes.
Big D says our goals were worse. They gave us our goals. I think, okay. There's a lot of soft goals. That's a fair point.
They gave us our goals. AC Man give us our goals. We give them 4 goals. Then we missed a penalty as well. So he's don't know what he's sorry, mate. You don't know what you're talking about. That bloke who said that. You just say AC Milan give us 2 goals. Well, we give you 4. You name 1 goal out that 4 was any good. None of them. All defensively. Mistakes. So I'm sorry, he doesn't know what he's talking about.
Luke Shaw, terrible. Stephanie says no nonsense from Neil.
Yeah, but they were all terrible.
Yeah. I think I was to say that S. Madison, I don't think that Neil's not saying that Luke Shaw wasn't poor. He's just saying that it's not just one player. It's multiple. When you have a defensive breakdown, it's not just one person, is it?
No, well, what's that? You look at the back 4. What do you want to call it? It's shambolic. Should never been, like off the cheek. He just ran through. No one was there. Where were they? Half in the changing room for a cup of tea. I could. If you look at their 4 goals, they were all bad mistakes from us. You can say, "Oh yes," but we scored 2. Yes, they let us score 2 goals. No, The first goal was a good goal. The second was from their throw. That's it. That was sloppy. But then
comment in the chat, Neil.
Sorry,
but Curlis in the chat says he thinks we're in a relegation battle. I think that's a bit too negative.
Who said that?
Curlis, you can see the comment on the screen. He was on the call and show, but I think that's too negative. I don't think we're in a relegation fight.
Sorry, mate, you're talking at your ass. I don't care what he says. That's rubbish thing to say. Well, after 1 game, when the league hadn't even started yet. No, we won't be relegated. I'm sorry, but that's talking rubbish.
What is your expectation then? Also, welcome Jim to chat. Good to see you, Jim.
Well, if we don't get any more signings, we'll be lucky to get a Champions League play. We'll get a European place, but it won't be Champions League. Maybe get a FA Cup, Milk Cup, or say. That depends who we play in that. So with this team, my expectations are not high. What I've seen. They play some good football. Not saying they don't. but they let some terrible goals in as well. You can't just blame. You can't just blame Bruno. Yeah, well, you got Bruno haters, aren't you? You know, Shaw haters. No, sorry. What about the rest of the players? You can't just blame 2 players out of the 11 who were on that, and then the others. They were terrible. There's no get away from it. But Rich, I don't think they will buy any more players. Who are they going to buy? Because they won't.
Well,
all the players that you've been commenting in your transfer are over 70, 80 million. Well, United won't pay that, will they?
If they don't, then I think it's going to be a long season. I don't think we're going to get relegated or anything like that.
We need another striker. Maybe we need 4 or 5 more players, but we ain't going to get them. Lucky get one. You know, I'm disappointed onto today's game, but that's United, isn't it? Brilliant.
I'll go through a few of the comments and see what people like. Solly says rustiness all over. The team did look a bit rusty. I think Bruno Fernandes doesn't look like up to speed yet either.
No, Maino he's not fit enough, neither is he? You know, Bruno, that's 2 of them. But, right, but but you can't just blame 2 players. That's a team game.
I think with this one, I think with Wes Madison's comment, why is Bruno staying on the pitch 90 minutes? I think this is like fitness level related. Like it's not about performance at this stage. Like
but if you take Bruno off, who's going to replace him? We haven't got the players, have we, to replace them? Mate's injured, so he can't play. God knows how he's going to play long for. Kobe is a different player to him. So, you know, who's going to replace him?
Yeah, good point. I mean, the thing is that if we had this sort of result at the start of the season, then it would be it wouldn't. I think I would be probably matching the people in the comments. If we lost our game to Hull 4-2, it'd be a disaster. But Big Dog's got a question, or Big D says, "What about our style of play? Like, do you care about the style of play, Neil, or you?"
No, not really. I want to watch good football. We are playing good football, but letting silly goals like today.
Yeah, I was going to say this is probably not a good. This is not a good day to question. Like the football obviously wasn't great. I think when the season starts, then we can probably judge it more harshly.
What's your expectations then for the season?
My expectations are, I think Man United should qualify. Like this is what I think should happen, is that if we didn't qualify for the Champions League, I think it's a poor season, and if we don't qualify for the Champions League, I blame Ineos and the Glazers 100%. Because
you won't blame Michael. You're like me then. You won't blame Michael Carrick.
Well, I think it depends, doesn't it? Like we haven't seen any of the matches, so I can't comment on what Carrick's doing until we actually see matches. But I think in terms of like Man United as a club, the expectation should be dropping out of the Champions League is not acceptable. You've got to be at least that level, and you've got to if you're not good enough, you've got to invest in the squad. Like you can't hope that all your kind of players come through.
I agree with you, mate, but no one has got a divine right to qualify the Champions League, have they? You have to earn it.
No. But I think it's I think we got away with one last season where a few teams were off it and we had a strong run. We didn't have European football. I don't think you can take it for granted that the squad's good enough. And I think it's
it's not.
That question mark.
It proved that today, mate. The squad isn't good enough. But that bloke said when he said we'll get relegated, I thought that was quite funny.
No, I think if Man United did badly, I think a bad season for Man United is dropping down to like Europa sort of level, where I can't really predict us dropping lower than that, considering we're going to finish.
If you look at the league, it's 2 teams are better than us. The rest 8, that's Arsenal and City. Liverpool, we finished above them last year. Tottenham may finish a bit better. Villa, I don't know, Newcastle. You know, all the other teams are no better than we are. So by that, we should get a Champions League play. But where we are, I don't know. So after, like you said, mate, you have to wait till the season starts. Then we'll
definitely said no expectations, no disappointments, but we should be getting 70+ points. We should be qualifying at the bare minimum. I think the floor should be the floor of this team, like worst case scenario should be you finish like the bottom Champions League qualification spot. If we finish below that, then I just look at the club and think, why aren't you investing in the squad? Because every other team is.
Well,
And
they
it's not
never
that
spent a lot of money, do they? Let's be honest.
well, they have done in the past, but they spent it badly, and now they seem to be not spending any at all, which I think
Yeah,
is
they got one extreme to another, haven't
just
they?
as bad. I know it's ridiculous, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
Um, I'll go for this comment, and then we're going to get Mo on in a second. If anyone else wants to jump on, the link is there. Ollie says it must be dispiriting for the squad to battle, make Champions League, and then the board don't invest, improve us. I don't know if it's going to. I don't think morale's necessarily going to drop because I think the morale of the team was pretty good last season. But again, I suppose the question mark is going to be how does it? We have to judge it by what we see next season. And Marp says same players, same results. What do you expect? I mean, we finished third, so I'm expecting that we should be able to get Champions League football with effectively the same team. We're replacing, as we're taking out Casemiro, putting in Tielemans and Ugarte. Any final point you want to make, Neil? I mean, how disappointed are you?
Well, today's game, not really. Mean this game, really. I wanted to beat Amra, but we didn't.
Yeah,
So
that's probably the thing, isn't it? I think because
that's
it's
only
Ruben Amorim.
disappointing. Only about today's game, and we didn't beat him, and he'd probably laughing his socks off. But yeah, we can only get better, I think.
I should say happy birthday to Miss Sky. I said happy birthday to you a few days ago, but it is your
Ooh.
birthday today, so hopefully you're having a good one.
Well, happy birthday, whoever she is. Never heard of her. I'll go. Do you want to get someone else on? I'll just.
I'm going to get Neil. I'm going to get Mo on. Neil, thank you for getting involved today.
All right, mate. Cheers. Cheers, buddy.
Cheers, Neil.
Cheers.
So if anyone else wants to come on, the link is pinned in the comments. But it will, yeah, you have to. At least we have to know who you are, so we don't want any thing that happened on Si's channel. If you're able to share the stream as well and click the like button as well, we won't be live incredibly long time today, so we're going to do like quite rapid call-ins. If you want to come on, we can get you through quite quickly. We're going to bring on Mo, who's usually the voice of reason, but we'll see how he's feeling today. And I can see him like smiling in the background. But you know, it's the last day of preseason. I was thinking I want to see a good performance, so I'm a bit disappointed, and maybe a bit of it is because it's against Ruben Amorim. How are you feeling, Mo?
I mean, I'm not upset. I'm not gonna scream and like shout just yet. It's preseason. A lot of these guys are just now getting back from holiday. They're not up to match fitness yet. Um, it is disappointing though because I wanted to beat Ruben Amorim too. But I mean, I'm not gonna go crazy just yet. The season hasn't even started, and so we've already got somebody saying that we're going to get relegated. Let's just wait and see what happens. Um, the one thing I am upset about is that our like front office or the board, should whatever you want to call them, they're not bringing people in, and it sucks because you look at all of the other teams around us who are quote unquote the big six or whatever you want to call them. They're actually going out and they're spending money on like players, and we're doing what we've been doing for the past 8, 9, 10, however long is we're getting 2 or 3 players and then we're hoping for the best. And that's the one thing that I'm mad about, but I'm not mad because we lost this game. Yeah, I wanted to beat to
Do you know what the thing is, Mo, as well? Like Andy's saying, how much of a difference is a week going to make? Like, we're saying, I know, like, I agree. Like, some of the players are not up to speed, and some of the players are not match fit. I do think there might be a bit of a World Cup hangover for some players next season because of the length of that tournament, and like Bruno just coming back, and Buemo looking really good. and I think Cunha also not looking quite as he did. So I think there might be a bit of a World Cup hangover, which again it might be a bit of an annoying thing, but it's not an excuse. But I do agree with Andy saying that we literally got 1 week, haven't we? Like 1 week. I'll go for a few of the comments and see. So this guy's saying, "So you don't want to watch the whole match?" Yeah, the whole match should be actually. I might be away when the whole match is on, so I might have a guest host doing the stream. So hopefully it's a good one, but hopefully it's going to be a good one. I mean, AC Milan are probably a better team than Hull, I guess. United Dice said he's scared to open Twitter. The Amram Brigade is out. just Twitter is a bit bizarre at the best of times, I would say. So no, hopefully we're kind of a sensible YouTube channel and we won't be pushing like strange agendas. Big up to you, Kenny Fan TV. Kenny, if you want to jump on and have your say, there's a link pinned in the chat. Always good to get you on, mate. So I'll post it again. Cody, I think you might be joking, but I don't know. You're usually pretty rational. It says Caracat losing to Amrin is unforgivable. I think this is a joke tweet message, to be honest. But you know how people are like. Yeah, big up to Sashiv, who's Kenny Fan TV, saying the 3-4-3 finally worked. Do you agree with like some of the negativity regarding Luke Shaw? I mean, it feels like we talk about Luke Shaw way too much.
So I I think he needed to go 2 or 3 seasons ago. Now, I'm not blaming him for all of our problems, but it seems like Luke Shaw only shows up when a sort of major tournament is looming like in the background, like when the Euros. He will play an entire season. He's good. Like I'm not gonna say that he's world class, but he's good enough to where whoever is
Yeah,
the coach.
it's like he's a good player, but he's not like a. Yeah, if you think of where Man United want to be, or where we want Manchester United to be as fans, we want Manchester United to be the #1 team in the Premier League. And then you look at Luke
Mhm.
Shaw and go, is he going to be Is he the best left back in the league? You go, no. So,
So,
is there better options out there? Yes. And you just think, right, we should try and get one of these players in. I think that's the way I'd look at it.
yeah, so I mean, like I'm not gonna trash the guy, but I feel like he only plays when there's something to play for, and he doesn't care if he's good or he's at bat for his club when there's not a major tournament to like involved. So, and then he's hurt for like 8, 12, 22 weeks, and then he'll come back to get hurt again, or he won't play. But I don't know, man. I'm not gonna scream just yet. Um, Realistically, where I see us finishing is between 6th and like 8th. If we don't get in at least 2 more players before the window closes, then I don't see us finishing higher than that.
I'll go through a few of the comments. There's no one waiting backstage. If anyone wants to jump on, then please do that. Andy says he tries to be positive, and actually, yeah, Andy, you're usually pretty positive in the chat. I can say that you're usually pretty positive, and so you're pretty pissed off of what was terrible football today. I mean, conceding 4 goals today to Ruben Amorim's team is pretty disastrous. And Jules is saying Luke Shaw has never been good for United, in his opinion, even at his best. And again, I think Luke Shaw might play a lot of games, but he's never going to manage like multiple games a week. Super Arch, good to see in the chat, says there are times when it's okay to sub Bruno off for a bit, and he says off his game right now. I think with this one, my kind of idea about Bruno, okay, Bruno's not great today. And if it was a Premier League match midway through the season, I think Bruno needs to get substituted. I think because it's a preseason match and Bruno hasn't been back long with the squad, I think they kept him on just for like fitness reasons. I don't think this was a plan to try and win the match. I think this is just like, this is preseason. The match largely doesn't matter to Carrick. Like, okay, it matters to the fans quite a lot, but I think in terms of preparation, they left him out there. Kenny says Rashford came on. We conceded 2 goals. I mean,
That's not why.
I
Stop.
don't think.
Stop. Stop it. Like
I guess this one, like, things were coming down Luke Shaw's side, but I think Man United we're just not playing that well as a team anyway. And
two of the goals, our entire back line was nowhere to be found. Two of them ran into each other, which I don't understand why they were going to the same spot. One should have been going one way, the other. So no, we just I just it's frustrating, but at the same time, let's just all take a breath really quickly. You can have your opinions. You can be upset, but let's just all take a break, man. This is preseason, and yes, we look really bad this game, but let's all take a breath and just kind of relax. Now, if the season starts this weekend and should we lose to Hull 4-2, then we can start yelling and running around, pulling out your hair, getting mad. But let's all just calm down for a while. Let's just wait and see what happens. But yeah,
I'll go
I
through a
will.
few of the comments, Mo. Like, Dan says he's dreading the season because he knows what's going to be coming. And I think if United get a few injuries, yeah, if we get a few injuries, I can see the season being a tricky one, certainly. And I'm like I said, I'm at this point in time, I would say the responsibility's got to be on the owners to get more players in. Like, the squad demands are going to be higher because of the extra games, and if they can't see that, they're idiots, frankly. But I'll go for this one. Solly says these are quality players, Santos and Tielemans, but obviously we missed a profile in there, and say certainly need a left back, and say rest is just rustiness and a humid day for him. Saying so, I guess Solly's expecting more. It said Hull. I mean, I don't know what to expect from Hull, but Dan says Hull will be all guns blazing, newly promoted, fresh. I think promoted teams generally they're going to be wanting to try and get some points early on. So I'm expecting a difficult low block and a motivated opposition when we play them. That's my expectations. Do you think we need like? I don't think we need 3 more midfielders. Like, we need another midfielder, but we have 2 new ones this season.
Yeah, I think we need like one more for the midfield, and then maybe a left left back, one that'll start, and then if you should have to play Shaw, you can play him during a Carabao Cup match or something like that. But I it's frustrating because it's the same thing, different season is our the higher ups, the ones that are making the calls that are getting players in. It seems like they don't care. They sign 2 players and be like, okay, cool. So now the fans can shut up because we just bought like 2 new players. Here's your 2 new shiny toys. Look at them, and we're not going to try to bring in some more quality players. I think we sh- we shouldn't be shocked. We shouldn't be unsurprised because it's the same thing every year. So
I might do. I'm going to get Colas in. I think I might disagree with you on some things just to see his point, because I think he was saying that we definitely need a lot more. So if anyone else wants to jump on, then yeah, please do so. The link is there. And welcome to the chat, Colas. How are you feeling? You've heard Mo's quite relaxed. How are you feeling?
I suppose looking at it from this point of view,
Hello?
I can't get too fired up
Curtis?
over a pre-season. I'm on.
Yeah, you're on. Just try and
Yeah,
speak loud if you can.
Right. I can't get too wound up over the pre-season. In saying that, the mistakes are there all over the pitch and have been all pre-season. There is nothing in their central defensive midfield. There is no real depth in the defence. We can concede a goal and then we can go on to score goals. But we don't
I can't
look
hear
as
him, Rich, so I don't know what he's saying.
Okay. So yeah, do you think we need? You're saying that we can't defend. Obviously, we can score goals, but we're not defending well. Coda's saying. Yanni says Ruben schooled character day. Bit surprising result. Our defense needs an upgrade. Forget the midfielder. What do you think, Curtis? Like, if we were going to sign one more player, say the next player, for example, would you be thinking we should get a defensive player, or do you want another midfielder? Like, what's your
No, I
thoughts?
think we need to get somebody in to replace Casemiro.
So you think we need to get a Casemiro replacement?
If for no other
Still.
reason, to give us some sort of block in that midfield before an opposition attack runs on to our defence. I think there's enough in defence if you're playing, say, Maguire and Euro. I think there's enough there in that regard, possibly with a Maserawi, maybe at right back, and then obviously, it depends who you're playing at left back.
I think the thing that's concerning me is that all of last season, we had some good wins, but when you look back on them, we always conceded goals. Like the 3-2 win against Arsenal, we have 3-2 against Fulham, and you look at a lot of pre-season, not many clean sheets in there. And okay, it is pre-season, but when you start losing 4 goals to Ruben Amorim's team and think, okay, we didn't get a lot of clean sheets last season either, and there's a lot of injury-prone defenders. There's fullbacks that have been in the club for a lot of time. Mo, what would you go for if you could pick the next signing? Because I would say, for me, I might go like get Lewis Hall in, like get a left back in who I think is going to be top quality, and we need to address this situation because otherwise, Harry Mash should get some games because he's going to be called upon at this stage of the
See, I
season.
would play Amas. I would have Amas.
Yeah, I would go should left back. I think and you can say that I'm wrong, but I think at the weakest part of our team right now is our defense, and you saw that this afternoon is it's just not good enough. They're just not good enough, and so that's why I think I would go for a Lewis Hall, somebody with a bit more like pace, or someone that can to defend well, because our back four was just not good this afternoon.
Dad says he can't see Bruno in the same season as last year. Well, it's difficult to say. Jill says, is Martinez good enough to be a starting player?
Nope.
Then I would say no, but I've said that for a little while, like a couple of years. Curtis, yes, no question for you then. Is Martinez good enough to be a starting player for you, do you think?
I would say no, but then again, we can't afford to just sell him because you're not going to get anybody to replace him. And I don't want to start going down this path of just selling players that we know are not good enough, because you're not, on the basis of what we're seeing getting spent, replacing what's going to be going out the door. So you can't have this both ways. So he's going to have to stay, and he's going to have to be played in, I would imagine, cup competitions and certain Champions League games.
It does seem to be that for me, Man United, we got, say, Harry Maguire, contract extension, Dallo Shaw, and we're talking about Lisandro Martinez a bit here, it just seems that because Man United don't buy any replacements, we're kind of almost like we keep these players, even though there might be better options out there, just because the club is not capable of signing replacements
That's
for
right.
them.
The club, I mean, for how
Exactly.
many years now
But
have we kept? How many years
so,
have we
like I said,
kept?
it's the same thing. It's a different year, same kind of thing. Is we don't try to upgrade the like team, but then you have players that or teams that are in and around us competing for the same thing that are actually going out and upgrading their entire squad.
Mhm.
It's disappointing.
It's common sense for any football club wanting to progress to improve the players that they've
So
got and then sell the rubbish that they don't want. But Man United can't seem to do that.
Yeah, a few people are saying they think that Harry Mass is going to get sold based on like he's too small. Welcome, Gray, to chat. Gray, there's a link in the comments if you want to jump on. Like, there's a pinned link. And Gray's quite a positive Man United fan, so it might be good to get, a different perspective. I know a lot of people are a bit annoyed with what's happening. I think for me, this is like the last game of preseason, isn't it? So anything that happens from now on, you go, right, is the preparation good enough? And I'm just not. So as I say that, Russ puts in a comment saying, "Are United prepared for the Premier League and Champions League this season?"
No.
And what do you reckon, great, Curtis? Before we get other people on, what's your thoughts
No,
regarding this one?
I told you in the last game we were miles off it. And tonight, or this afternoon, it shows it. We're miles and miles off it. That was a AC Milan squad with better quality. And when they went forward, every time they went forward, they just cut us to bits. Cut us to bits. There was nothing there at all. Nothing in the midfield to stop it. And nothing when it got through to the defence. A few clever passes and we were just cut clean open.
Yeah, if we ship forward to Hull, there will be a different style of stream. I can guarantee that. But Curtis, we're going to get rid of the better
I'm off. I'm going away. So have a nice night, folks.
Or is you stay on for a little bit? Big up to you, Curtis. And if you stay on for a bit, Mo.
Okay.
So yeah. How are you feeling with the better? Like, we definitely deserve some transfers. I'm just going to read this comment before we get your take on the match. And Jill says, "Look at Rangers, Ferran Torres, Trafford, etc." I'm going to say this though. I think Trafford was a record signing for a goalkeeper, wasn't it? When Man City bought him, and they sold him for a profit despite him barely playing. That is just that's not good business. That's very suspicious business, I think, with Trafford. But yeah, Man City have suspiciously moved on players very effectively. What are you thinking? Like, where do we go with this one? Like, do you know what I'll say as well? I'm really happy you come on today. I know you've been quite busy for this one. I know it's pre-season, but it felt a bit like if I was a football player at Manchester United, this one would mean more because of what happened last season. So I'm a bit disappointed.
I thoroughly enjoy that game. Look, it's pre-season. There's a narrative, Amrin, da. Wait till we play him in the Champions League. If that's what I want to see. When it's on, when it means something. It's pre-season. It doesn't really bother me. What was really nice, I thought, look, Bruno, start as you mean to go on. 2 minutes, lovely assist, slap Slabby's head. Look at that, thunderous. I'm not saying anything about Maguire again. I'm going to keep it shum. Great season last season. I think he's starting the way he needed to this season. And again, look, he got the pen, Bruno. I think he didn't disguise it well enough. It made it very, very obvious for their goalkeeper, Taranzi, and and it didn't go in. But comes back second half. And you know what? He was in the 99th percentile for XA and expected assists and expected goals. So look, he's carrying on where he left off. Dorgu, I mean, do you remember you and I were having to defend this guy? He'd only been a couple of months, and people were pulling him by his legs and saying he's not good enough. He'd been misprofiled. So this guy is a left midfielder, left winger, and he took that goal, I thought, sumptuously. We messed up in the first half from a throw-in. They messed up in the second half from a throw-in. So I think there's a lot of kind of positives. I think the attacking play was good. Santos has been brilliant. He sits into the back three. He sits in between Heaven and Maguire, which creates a back three. Finally, our fullbacks are getting forward. Sure, I saw them getting up high the pitch. Mazraoui was almost outside the box a couple of times. Did you see that lovely ball where Mazraoui put the pass into Dorgu? Dorgu done a step over, and Bruno found the ball and took a shot. It was saved. Look, some of the play I thought was exciting. I could go on and on and on. I'll take a breath and allow some interjection. But I've got many points from that match. I really have.
Yeah, I'll go through a few of the comments. So let me know what you're thinking in the comments. And yeah, from what I've been reading, I'll read these. They're quite funny. Curtis says you must have been watching a different game if you saw a lot of positives.
Yeah, look, it depends how you.
Comments though, great. If you want, I would say, if Gray, if you want to come back, you disappeared from backstage, but I can get you on. Yeah, you can respond.
Has Curtis just been on?
Yeah, he just came on.
It's a shame, isn't it, Curtis? We could have had a good right combo. It depends how you see it. It's a pre-season match. I always like to see a glass half full. I need to do the positives. I'm not going to buy into the noise. There's obviously going to be improvements. It's only pre-season. We need more depth. I get that. I understand that. But did you see those 5 subs that came on? Meaty substitutes, meaty good players came on that second half. We never had that last season, so happy about that. There's another positive for you, Lovey. Also, look, the things I kind of look at, Lamens, look, we shit for, but some of those saves he made with his feet reminds me of Schmeichel. He's going to get better again this season. What else was there that I can go? Maguire showed assurity. Top man for aerial. He won the percentile race for aerial domination. I thought he was prolific. Some of the goals were sloppy, too much space on the right side, not good enough. You don't allow I forget the guy's name, Loftus-Cheek, to run from the midway line to the box and get a goal in and get beaten on the near post. You don't allow that, but you clean that up. So I'm not too worried about that. It's good to get this out in pre-season because you look at where you need to. Shea Lacey coming on. I'm so glad for him. He's had a great pre-season. Good. I want to see a bit more of him this season. Give him a few more minutes here and there. It'd be great. That tussle between Kobe Mainoo and Santos. Who's going to play alongside Tielemans? Because we had Shaw played 90 minutes. We had Maguire play 90 minutes. Lamens played 90 minutes. Bruno played 90 minutes. And Tielemans played 90 minutes. Those 5, I reckon, will be starting the majority of matches. Who plays alongside him in that pivot? So it was good to see Santos with the defensive line, the recycling, and also the attacking play and balls in the final third. I thought Tielemans was prolific, though, today. I saw Mainoo in link-up play with Rashford, just so sweet, so nice, great understanding, nicking the play down the left, getting tackles. I thought he was great. Martinez stood out for me today when he came on. Physical, strong, found Rashford twice. Ball over the top. Rashford should have done better, but he's been on the pitch for about 10 minutes. There was a moment there when Rashford came on and he done a lovely ball to Mbeumo. And Mbeumo then got the ball. Rashford didn't anticipate it. And then, as Mbeumo said to him, press. You don't need a player to be telling you to press. But then the moment later, he hunted down the ball and got that lovely ball, passed it to Shaw. Shaw put it into no man's land. So I can see a lot of positives. It depends how you see the game. There were movements happening all over the pitch that really, really excited me. Sesko's yet to come back. That's going to be interesting to look at. Again, as I say, I could go on and on.
Yeah, I was going to say with this one, this is a call-in show, and the idea is that you might not agree with the opinions you're seeing today or at the moment, but you might have agreed with the person 10 minutes ago or 15 minutes ago, and you're welcome to come on and have your say. And we're going to get Gray on and we'll probably get Mo back on as well, because there won't be a long stream today. So big up to you, Mo, get you back on as well. What are you thinking, Gray? Last game of pre-season, what's your thoughts?
Before we start, am I better with my phone on profile or landscape?
Maybe switch it the other way and it'll fill the screen slightly better. Maybe. There you go.
Yeah,
Is that
see
better?
more of you now.
Yeah,
Oh,
still
I
sunny.
don't know.
Still
Don't
nice
get
sunny
too
weather
excited.
in the UK.
How are you, lovely Gray? It's good to see you.
Oh, brilliant, mate, brilliant. What a game. Can't believe we smashed them like that, man. Absolutely leathered them. If anyone
Sarcasm.
asks, guys, we won. All right. What are you laughing for? We won. And no, that's it. Done. I thought it was a great game. I thought everyone did everything perfectly well. The result was fantastic for us. Can't wait to play Hull.
What's your thoughts then? Because a lot of the comments before you guys turned up, it was like transfers and things. And do you look at the squad? If the transfer window ended now, like for example with Isabel, are you worried that we don't have enough depth?
Yeah, look, the transfer window hasn't. Are you asking me?
Yeah, I'll ask you, and then we'll get Gray's take on that as well.
Look, they need to do more. We all know this. Look, that's out of my control. There's nothing I can do about that. Even if we do a protest, it's not going to change anything, right? That's out of my control. So I leave that to them. All I do is look at what's going on in the pitch. It's up to them to sort that out. And yes, of course, if they don't bring in more signings, it'll be a appalling window. A net spend of what? 13 million or so, 15 million. Depends what we've sold Hoyland. Yeah, it's nothing. So 2 signings. 2 proper first team signings. Though I thought he had a great game last match, saving that penalty, winning us the cup. But that we need more. I mean, I'd have to be absolutely foolish if I thought any different.
Yeah, Cody says would be foolish of Ineos to gamble with the season. And again, we did it in January, but January is different. Like we gambled a bit in January, signing nobody with the hope that the squad was good enough, and the squad was good enough at that point to get Champions League football. What do you think, Ray? Like, there's been pretty much limited transfer news, so most people I know haven't really been talking too much about it recently. But do you think that we got enough for the season, or do you think surely we're going to get 1 or 2 more in? I'd have thought, but they might not be exciting to some people because I think they're going to be cheaper than more expensive signings.
We definitely need more depth. Definitely need more depth. I was very impressed with Santos, and like a previous comment I heard, can't remember which, it might have been Mo, I don't know, saying like we missed him when he went off. It was like it was like taking one of your best gears out your gearbox, one of the best cogs out the gearbox. I was very disappointed with Luke Shaw, holding responsible for the first goal. I know, there's been a few mistakes there, the ball coming into the box, but Luke Shaw ran past the man at the back to get to the penalty spot where I think there was one attacking player, and was it Aidan Heaven was trying to mark him up, and the ball goes straight past Luke Shaw then, straight to the man he's ran past and left completely on his own to just tickle the ball straight into the net. I thought that was shocking. That was very bad. Partially responsible for the next goal as well. Sort of ran at the attacking player and then started to jockey him from about 10 yards away, which gave him all the space to loop the ball around or over him, which is exactly what he did, and the ball ends up in the back of the net. So Luke Shaw for me today was shocking, absolutely shocking. So we need a left back. So we need somebody for midfield, maybe a CDM, maybe the likes of Baleba. Some people are cringe when I say that, but I still rate him, regardless of his shit season this season. And I think that's more down to having his heart broken because he didn't get the move that he wanted. So there's him. There's Luke Shaw needs replacing. And even then, I think we possibly still need depth. Now, I am a realist and I understand that we are not going to get more than 2 more players. I'd be surprised if we got 2 more players, but we need to. We definitely need to. I appreciate we'll get 3, but we definitely need 2.
A few people are saying similar things, like Santos is definitely saying, so Santos looks like a really good signing. But I think most people are looking, like Rob says, we need a left back more than anything else. So my question was going to be, if you can sign 1 player now, because I think we might get 2 players, like you say, but I think one of them was probably going to be someone like Page from Leicester or something. One of them's going to be a cheap signing, I think. So we got
Well,
the.
we're not getting the kid from Newcastle, are we? Because they're just going to like say, well, he's not for sale. If you want him, you're going to have to break the bank. So maybe Page, yeah. I don't know. I honestly don't know. I don't know which way to approach this at all because one thing's clear: we need more depth and we need a better left back for sure.
I
Quite
think
literally, for sure.
I think possibly there's a pivot really. If Hall doesn't really go, I think Anthony Robinson is probably the player they may pivot to. Some may not like that because of his age, but it's a short-term fix and it's a good fix for at least 3 or 4 years. That's possibly who they may pivot to, and I think he's gettable.
Yeah. Can I just say?
I agree with you. Just quickly, I agree with you about that second goal. Shaw was so passive. He had his hands like this. It's like get a tackle in, and he didn't. And
it was
those
more the
balls
fact that he just stayed off him by about 10 yards and gave him all the space he wanted to do everything he wanted for me. Whether his arms were behind his back or not, I just think you just.
That's what I mean. He was. Yeah, exactly. He did
so
nothing.
For the first goal, he kept running when he should have stopped, and the second goal, he stopped when he should have kept running. You can't make that shit up.
It was a comedy of errors, that first goal.
Yeah. I think
Santos going into heaven, and both Shaw and Aiden Heaven just in no man's land. It was just crazy.
Loftus Cheek had a good game, unfortunately.
He did a good run, yeah.
But yeah, so if I could just say before we go any further, if you actually see the video that I uploaded, see when I first came on and went backstage, I think you'd just come on yourself. So I thought, well, I'll just back out and I'll come back in. And I saw Rich's comment or heard Rich's comment saying, like, try again, I'll get you in. I was actually uploading a video, and it's not a mistake. The thumbnail actually reads, United smashed Milan, and the score reversed. It's very tongue-in-cheek, very sarcastic, and then you got Graham Wilder appears and tells us some home truths. So I just wanted to mention that before somebody looks at my video and says, what the is he talking about? So, yeah. Where do we go from here, lads?
I think with Man United, I think it's pretty clear where they're going in the window. And when you're looking at the Leicester City player Page, I think he's a centre midfielder. I saw something this morning. I think Man United might be offering like 10 million or something for him. So it feels a bit like he's like Tielemans is going to be a first team player. I think Santos is probably might be a first team player with Mainu. And I think effectively what they're doing is they're looking to get someone that's going to be a backup. I don't think we're going to be buying a player that's replacing Casemiro like people want. I don't think too many is not happening. Alex Scott's not happening. I think if we got Belieber, I'd be surprised because I think Belieber, for me, it's not about form. I'm a bit worried about injuries. And I know it's quite young, but if last season he was playing with an injury or managing his minutes and then he got another knock this pre-season. I'm just thinking Brighton have a bit of a track record of players coming through. They're trying to get massive transfer fees. I would be wary about that deal. So I think Page might happen.
Show up on an X-ray.
Do what?
The ligaments show up on an X-ray or a scan.
I wouldn't have thought so because depends what the scan is. If it's an X-ray, it's just bones. But if it's they'll do like some scans to find out. I'm sure.
Yeah, like an MRI scan.
You got to do I believe you got to do an MRI or a CT scan to see the muscles and the ligaments.
Right. I'm just wondering whether he is actually injured or if he's just spat his dummy a little bit further out.
Now, we said that a year ago. I think Isabella might remember when he was missing from a last game in pre-season or something for Brighton. I said, "Oh, is he really injured, or am I not going to?" Because sometimes players get dropped because of something's happening. But no, he just does pick up a few injuries as well.
Yeah, I can't see him doing that. He's desperate for a move, so he wouldn't be doing.
I was going to agree with you, Isabella. I think Man United might go for Robinson and think, right, Robinson, good left back, steady. It's not going to be exciting for people. Like Tielemans isn't exciting for some people, but it makes sense financially. If you get Robinson and get Tielemans, they're good now. Like you don't have to worry about, say, 4 or 5 years' time. They're good now, and then you get the players that replace them a bit cheaper.
Yeah.
I think that's what my guess.
Yeah, I get it. And look, we need experience as well, you know, and we need to hit the ground running. We haven't got a season where we can give people time. We haven't got that this season. That was last season. We need to hit the ground running, and that's why they're going for Prem proven with some of these players. So
Greg's
yeah,
still an option,
look,
isn't he? Like he's still not off the table. I was saying if you're when I'm
who's
doing
that?
transfer streams, I was gonna say like Gray, when you upload something and I'm doing a transfer stream, I think people need to watch at least 10 minutes before they get angry with me because they just look at the thumbnail, they make an assumption about what we're going to say, and then get angry in the comments, go, just relax, guys. I think if you're looking at it, Ineos for me, it looks like the transfer window looks a bit like if I was doing it, where I'm focused on the Premier League because I don't watch other leagues, and I go, yeah, these guys are good, and it doesn't look like we're going too much beyond the Premier League. It looks like we're scouting, like I would, and go, oh, these players are quite good against us. Robertson's usually quite good against us, and go, right, he'll do. Sander Berg, I think people that have seen him play are happy with him. He's not an exciting option. I'm not going to say that. He wasn't my first choice either, Rob. He wasn't my second or third. But to be honest, at this point in time, I could see some merit in it. But I don't think we're going to be signing a player that isn't in the Premier League at the moment. That's my guess. I mean, I don't know what you think. Like, Gray, do you think we're going to go for some players that are non-Premier League or?
Do you know, with the radio silence the way it is, you just can't read it because you've got
Yeah,
like the press coming out with everything, haven't you? And it's all speculation. Nothing's come
they
out of
don't
the
know.
club whatsoever. That boardroom door's shut and nobody knows shit about what's going on inside.
Do you know what I was
So
thinking? That I think price is really important at the moment for United, not necessarily for fans. And Edison was like the cheapest deal we could do. And as soon as Tielemans was available, who was effectively the
They
same
dropped him.
price, similar age, yeah, but he played in the Premier League. They were like, Edison, off you go. That's a dodgy medical,
Yeah,
and or get Tielemans. Welcome to Man United. I think I don't know about the
good.
medical, but I think Tielemans, as soon as he's available,
I think they had a
he was
bit of
going to.
fortune on the side and they've just jumped straight away, haven't they? They've just jumped straight in there and gone, right, we'll do that. And that's that decision made because it was something that wasn't foreseen. Like everyone's going to say, not telling me that Tielemans was a target 2 months ago because he just wasn't, was he? You wouldn't have
I
thought
don't think
so.
I don't think they
And I
knew
think
about the release clause.
yeah, and I think Edison wasn't the injury wasn't a deal
Well,
breaker, but they
you,
saw an opportunity and they took it.
you say that they probably didn't know about his release clause. I'm not so sure because surely if Tielemans is thinking, I've got a release clause, his agent knows he's got a release clause. They're
Yeah.
always looking for a better deal for the players. I'm not so sure they didn't know. I think,
No, I think they approached them because it is very suspicious how quickly it happened.
yeah,
It
but
seemed to
it
Both
happen.
happened, like you say, very quickly on the back of, what's his name, failing his medical.
Santos.
Edison.
It happened the same time that Aston Villa signed a midfielder that looked
Yeah,
like he might replace Tielemans.
yeah.
And we got Santos
Listen,
within
I'm going to
a
have to
few
get
days
off,
as
guys,
well.
because I've got to go and make tea. Sorry to hit and run, but yeah, I have to go.
No, it's great. We'll catch
It
you
was
in the
good to
next
see you.
one, I'm sure.
Nice chatting, lads, and thanks, Rich.
No, it's great. Speak
Take
to you soon,
care.
mate.
See you again.
See you later, mate. You have to cut me off, mate. I don't know how to do it.
Oh, there you go. I feel bad like deleting people off camera, but yeah, the Edison deal wasn't meant to be. I'm a bit suspicious about that one because the medical situation, it seemed to be very much, it felt a bit like I'd bought something from a shop and then on the way home, I went, oh, hang on a minute, that's much better. I go, oh, this is broken. I need my money back. It seemed a bit suspicious, but that's just my way of thinking. So we'll go for a few questions before we wrap up. If anyone else wants to join, then please click the pinned link. But otherwise, we won't be live for too long after these streams. So we'll be live for like another 10 minutes, maybe. Greg says, I think we're always going to go for Yuri Tielemans. I think our three targets were, say, Fernandez, Tielemans, and Santos. Then we switched to Edison just in case we could have got the Anderson deal. So I don't know. Do you think that was the case? It's a difficult one to predict, isn't it?
I think it's interesting because there was so much noise about us and Fernandez, and and apparently we did put an offer in. but we just didn't meet the amount that Spurs gave. I think it was around the 70 million plus 5 region. So there was noise about that. But look, like we say, nobody knows anything this window. I'm again really grateful we didn't get Fernandes. I think overrated. And I think if you get Fernandes, you don't get a Tielemans and a Santos. And I think both of those players are far better value than Fernandes. Fernandes, famous for relegating 2 clubs, not Tielemans on his history. It's not on Santos's history either. So glad of that. Small silver linings. And then, but the problem is, if you aren't spending 75 million on Fernandes, where are you spending it? And hurry up and spend it, because we need that. We need those players in.
Do you agree? Like Danny says, 1 step forward, 2 steps back. And I guess now, if we smash Hull, we won't really care about this. But do you see it that there's some negative about the club now, or because like you said, there's so little information out there. It's difficult to get angry because we don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah, look, if it gets to September the 1st and we haven't bought in signings, that's crazy. If they're on the back foot anyway, they should have got these players in. I think if we were playing Liverpool opening day, I think they might have been a bit more. Well, I'm giving them grace. If they probably wouldn't. I think because we're playing Hull, they're thinking we've got enough to beat them. They're going to get no good grace from me. They've spent. It's not how you challenge for a Premier League. It's not how you even do as good as last season when you're playing like this in the market, because everyone else has done well in the market, and those that are only playing 1 game a week have recruited well too. So we're not going to get the grace that we did last year with 1 game a week. We've got multiple competitions. We need multiple bodies to do that. But I do like the football we're playing. I do like the shape. I do like the profile of players we've brought in. And I do like the fact that people say Santos is like gravy at the moment. People forget Mainu last season. Mainu's only played what he got 29 minutes today. So once he gets that run, once he gets that running, having those 3 in midfield is exciting. And did you see Tielemans and Bruno at the end just controlling both the wings, pinning balls into the box? Get a Sesko in there, get your head on it. That's going to be interesting play too.
Do you think also, like this season and actually the summer, it's the biggest World Cup we've had for ever, like the amount of games and the amount of time off the players have had. I think this is the one pre-season where some of the players they just come back so late. That Bruno Fernandes, I think he played a bit of the last game, and this is his first. Is this his first start? I think.
First start, yeah.
You look at that and go,
same for Tielemans.
It's just a bit rusty. I can see why Bruno played more minutes, because he's not match fit. That's just there's no way of fast tracking match fitness. You just got to play the games. So Ross is asking about Mainu. No idea, because Mainu was like one of our best players the second half of last season. So the only managers that didn't fancy him were Amorim and
the only managers that didn't fancy Mainu was one who took 36 matches to win a back-to-back Premier League, and the other was someone who played such conservative football that when they were finally allowed to play, it was far too late, and kept playing, putting Bellingham as a CDM and just clipping his wings. Poor managers don't play Mainu. Managers with good IQ, who have been good midfielders and know what a good midfielder looks like, play Mainu. Carrick he had 1 defeat, Mainu, in all the games he played last season. He was the difference when Carrick came in.
I think when he comes back, he'll have a good season. Do you think that we're going to have like a good start to the season? Because last season, it wasn't great. I think the thing I've got positive this season is Lamans looks in great form. I'm sure the defense is going to be a bit more organised than what we're seeing with like the game. And I agree. This is what I said at the start of the stream, Rob. Exactly that. That I think some of the players that play too many minutes, and people go, "Why is he playing so many minutes?" It's just like we've all been like in pre-season with like teams when we're younger, and people are crap. I mean, one of my friends used to throw up his first match every preseason. He used to be sick on the side of the pitch because he just wasn't very fit,
Oh,
but
bless him.
he'd get there. And I think that this is what it is. Like, this is kind of like that day for Bruno. He's going to run around. He's not going to be fit enough, but he's going to show glimpses of what he can do. And then when you give him like more match fitness, and also there's no way around it, is there? If you played significant games in the World Cup, you're just coming back late, so you just don't have the game. So I think he'll be fine next season. I think other players will be fine. The concerns are still the same though. It's like we have the same size squad as last season, but just like a third more games. That's the only thing. I'm sorry, he said put Maynard on and win the World Cup. Still meant it. I mean, I'd say put any attacking player on for Tuchel instead of trying to play 8 at the back or whatever he did.
Yeah.
I have nightmares from that.
Start Saka, you know. I don't know. He fancied Madueke though, didn't he? He really did.
I know, exactly. So I'm gonna go for a few. If anyone's got any questions, we'll stay live till like 7 p.m. Have you got any more thoughts, Mo? Like, I seem to have ended up with two of the more optimistic fans, which is not intentional, but it's kind of like the stream versus the chat at the moment.
I mean,
I haven't seen it.
it's preseason, so just like I'm getting ready tonight to watch my Cowboys play football, and it's preseason, so I'm not gonna get too upset at the outcome because it's preseason. This is where players get to show their coach, the manager, whatever you want to call him. This is their opportunity to show him, hey man, I should get a shot this season to actually play. So I'm not going to get too upset about it. Yes, I hope that our front office signs at least 1 or 2 more players, maybe even 3, that can add quality to this team. But I mean, I'm not going to get overly upset because, like I said, when I first came on, it's the same thing, different season. They should bring in 2 new shiny toys and say, hey, look at these guys, and then said nothing else happens. I'm hoping that it's different, but I'm not going to hold my breath because I might die. But I'm also not going to.
I say we definitely would. I've got like a final question. You know how we have this preseason Pirlo for like Man United, where someone plays well in preseason, and then as soon as the season starts, they're completely useless. Like they're like a nana on a bad day. Maybe we need like we need a phrase for like people that are they look lackluster in preseason. I think that I know some people that I know personally as well. You know, when it's like a friendly and you're like, oh, okay, and suddenly when it means something, the level is different, isn't it? Suddenly you see someone step up, because I think that's what we're going to see as soon as it matters. Like when it's preseason, and people are running around getting fitness, etc. And it's disappointing about the results. But I think when the game matters, suddenly you see. I used to see this in basketball. Like when the game matters, someone like Kobe Bryant, suddenly they just completely switch on.
Yeah, I mean, I was just saying when I was watching that game, look, just on AC Milan, Czekawazi, I thought had a good game. I thought Gonzalez Ramos had a good game. Chishari was a good player. I thought he looked, and we were linked with him a couple of years ago, kind of tepidly. But I thought that's some player that you would probably bring in. I would have liked to. And Pavlovic, we talked about this about a month ago. Centre back, he's now their captain. I would have loved him, and we were looking at him for 25 million. You know, so
these are 2 players, weren't they? We talked about Jashari. I can't remember where he was, and I think with
that Club Brugge. It was at Club Brugge.
I think he wanted, from what I can remember, because we did a stream on him a long time ago. From what I can remember, I think he wanted AC Milan. I think that he wanted that move. So I think it was difficult. With Pavlovic, though, lots of people have talked about him. And it's like we can add him to the long list of players that got away. I think with this one, Rob says a mass being sold, like say, I've heard like 5 or 6 million, Rob. Which when I see that, I think it's going to happen. That's my thoughts. And okay, on one hand, it's disappointing it happens, but it makes me think Man United have to do something. Like you don't sell players without replacing them, do you? Certainly not with our squad depth.
There's no other option. So if they are selling a mass, you would hope that they're bringing someone who's good to go. There's aspects of a Mass's game going forward is great. I think defensively at time he gets caught out, but he's 19, and so my as a human being, I would develop him. I would develop him, and make him one of the greatest left backs that you can. But this club, they know that apparently we have no money, and so they're going to sell academy players. Pre-season has just been putting players in the window, because I looked at how many. Amar didn't get a look in today. Thwaites, all this noise about how great he's going to get minutes,
No,
more
we're not
minutes.
seeing much, are we?
One game with a few minutes in the second half. It was good to see JJ Gabriel. Well, if we kind of look at the whole pre-season, I thought it was good to see him. I thought he looked promising. Did not look like a 15-year-old. I thought he handled that game well. Lacey has been prolific. I thought Tyler Fletcher had a good game. People were referring to them as McFred. I thought that was a load of nonsense. And who else has been interesting? Our winger, Tyler Thompson, came on. I thought he looked promising in the last match. I think, like we say, we talked about Amar. I thought, they call him the Maguire recon. And I thought he looked fair.
Yeah, do you know what's like bizarre? Like if you kind of fast forward, like say 3 or 4 years, I think a lot of our players that are at that age now will look quite good. And I think we've done that. If you're going to say about signings, and I won't keep you too much longer, but in terms of signings, I think you've got some that are ready now, like your sort of Dwight York, Van Persie, and I think like Mbeumo, Cunha, etc. And I think you've got some that are going to be very close to ready, like say Dorgu and Heaven maybe. But I think we're doing a few deals now that are a little bit. They're going to be maybe a year or so, 2 years, and maybe like Santos will be someone that's like a doorgrade in Heaven. I think Santos will be good this year, maybe much better the year later. So I think we're doing those signings that are, close to being good enough now, but are going to certainly improve really well. I think the question is going to be is that we don't seem to be really doing the signings that City are doing at the moment that we used to do. I think that's the thing that's agitated people the most. Like they're going to get Anderson, they got Semenyo, they got Gahey, so they're getting players that are ready now.
Buwadi's players too.
Yeah. And I think every player they're signing, like Man City, are only signing players that are ready now, aren't they? That's all they're doing. The players they sign now are nearly always good enough to be in the first team. I think that's the difference between the clubs at the moment. I think the signings we're making are good, but they're not kind of ready now. So when we look at our squad, then I think Tielemans and Santos are first team players, but I'm not sure if we're going to sign another first team player unless we get a left back. And even then, I still think Luke Shaw might be first choice.
Do you know what? I would just love them to get, say, a Hall, and if they're not going to get a Hall, get a Robinson. You need to get a centre back. I think Martinez looked really good today, though. I really do. I thought he looked. I think he changed the way our defence works. I love the fact that our fullbacks are getting high. Pavlovic, someone of his ilk, I think is a good fit, and get some Mateta. Because we can't keep going on with Cunha and Mbeumo up front when Seska's not playing or hits a bit of bad form. And you need competition. All of these players need competition. Otherwise, you know what? They'll be in second gear. So get us a Mateta. He's available, right? And if you're not, go and get a Vlahovic on a free. Just go and do it, If his wages are too high, pivot somewhere else. But do these things. You kind of need those players, And ideally, we would have got a right back. But I think what they're doing is they're hitting the free. At the back in transition. They've got Sandros in. Look, Mazraoui, he did a lot of that in the World Cup. He's doing it again since he's come back. The ball fell to Delo after a lovely pass, and he hit it straight at the defender. So that would have been the person I would bring up. So there are good movements happening with our players who are doing it. But of course, one injury, a lack of form, and then the drop off. Who do you replace them with? So. They need to do those signings. I really hope they do, but I've kind of got to the point, Rich, it's out of my control. I'm not going to give it too much energy. If they do it, they do it. If they don't do it, they don't do it. But I'm more interested to see what we do on the pitch. I really am.
No, just quick 2 points before you go. And one is like Miss Sky's birthday today, Stephanie's birthday as well today. So 2 legends having their birthday today,
Oh,
which
happy
is
birthday,
good.
Miss Sky. And happy birthday, beautiful Stephanie. She's such a saint. She's everywhere, and she's always being of service. So God bless her. And she's funny too.
And she's drinking a lot today. So
she's going to be dancing on those. They're going to have to reinforce those tables, aren't they?
luckily, this isn't like a late night stream. So I think Stephanie, I'm assuming you've started reasonably recently, but said 2 more birthday cans of ale left. Good choice, actually, Stephanie. Sounds good. The last question I've got is, based on like what we've seen now pre-season and the other teams, where do you think we're going to do like finish next season? Like, what's your thoughts at the moment? I will probably do like a bigger stream midweek to discuss this, but what's your thoughts at the moment?
So you've got City and you've got Arsenal. I think they finish ahead of us. I think Liverpool new manager may struggle, or they may have a better season. So that's a difficult one. I think Chelsea, even though they've got 1 game a week, I still think they're going to mess around a bit. Spurs 1 game a week, but I don't see that jump going from 70.
It's Spurs, isn't it? Like people tell me Spurs have bought players, I'm going, but it's Spurs. Come on, guys.
Spurs, exactly. So I think we finish either 4th or 5th currently. But I think even then, even if we do get signings in with the Champions League as well, I think we'll get a Champions League qualification for next season. I think Arsenal, I think, are nailed on to win the league. I think Man City will push him hard, but Maresca could have a woeful campaign. You know, he wasn't that great at Chelsea. So there are I think there's 13 managers starting their first season.
Saliba's injured, so maybe Arsenal, see how they adapt with that. I was going to say, during, I think on social media, I did post something, I was replying to something Indiana posted, and I did say at the start of the stream, for me, the worst case scenario for Man United is like Champions League qualification. I think the floor should be like 5th if 5 teams qualify. I may regret that, but that's kind of how I feel. I think based on last season from January through to the summer, we looked good on the pitch. I mean, I know it's pre-season, but I think a couple of games will get back up to that sort of level. So I'd be genuinely surprised if we finish 6th or below. I would be genuinely surprised at this point. But what I'll do is we'll record a preview for the season, and then we can record it there. So I've got a record of me saying like we're going to finish that, and we'll see. Jules pulled his car over to say happy birthday to Stephanie. Look at that! Look at the power you've got, Stephanie.
Bless him. Look at that.
No,
what a lovely man.
Maybe next time, Jules, we can get Jules and Jules Jr. on to let us know what they thought of the game.
Unfortunately, wasn't he? He was terrific, wasn't he? He was so good. I really enjoyed speaking to him.
He was good. It needs to be like a regular call-in with like his dad. Maybe he's like writing Jules' script for him, possibly.
He's the man behind the curtain. He's the man behind the curtain, isn't he?
Yeah, it seemed pretty measured. But no, big up to you legends in the chat. Also, big thanks to Wizard Better, and a big thanks to all the call-in people today. I know people disagree on a lot of things, to be honest, and I'm not surprised at the moment. Randy wants to get in there and say happy birthday, Stephanie and Sky as well. And yeah, great people in the community as well. Big Dog says not worried about results, just worried about our style of play and characters in game management. And do you want to comment on this one? Just like there's been a few comments about style of play.
Yeah, I think the style of play has been brilliant from Carrick. I think it's evolved from last season. I like the transitions are smoother. I like how we squeeze teams in their midfield. I like how we're using our flanks. We've got to be careful about that because when we're squeezing the middle, we sometimes leave ourselves open on the flanks, as was the case against PSG, as was the case against Leeds, and as was the case today. So they need to work on that. They need to discover if our fullbacks are going high, who then is covering that space, because we've been quite a few times, and Shaw doesn't have the pace to do it, and that's why left back with pace is so important. But yeah, other than that, the transitions have been brilliant. I think the interplay has been smooth. I think the midfield, we've got a good hold on that. I don't fear anyone's midfield at the moment. I think Tillemans, line breaking passes, Martinez, line breaking passes, Aiden Heaven, line breaking passes. You know, all of those players are really finding movement to allow the attackers free flow. I think the respect between Tillemans and Bruno is great. I think them coming in from the wings also has been a good adaptation from them. Look, Santos also likes to sit into midfield and go up the wing. Mainu was doing it today when he came on and interconnected with Rashford. Rashford hunting down players is a different energy. Dorgu, clinical. Cunha was isolated today, but I think, you know, you need to find him. That's not his best position. It's not Mbuma's best position. Looking forward to Sesko coming back. There are so many positives. There really are. We could focus on all the noise that they want us to focus on, but I'm not having it. This is Man United. You know, I love them with a passion. It's good to see some players getting, you know, good fortune today. Really is, and you know, the future looks good. It looks good. It looks better than last season.
Just a really quick answer. How bad would it be if Tillemans didn't have a buyout? Surely we'd be looking at getting a different player in. I thought.
Yeah.
What's our priority then? We did cover it a bit, but what do you think?
Left back, striker, central midfielder, and I would love a centre back. I would love a new right back, to be honest. I would have changed the four backs completely. I would have taken Delo and told him to go, because Mazraoui is a much better defender. So then you can hold that as a free if you want to. So I would have sold Delo. You're going to get good money for him. His contract is nearing an end. Please don't extend. Luke Shaw, I think there were moments in today, I thought he had a really, really good game. I know he's at fault for the goals, but I think some of his movement was very interesting. Also, another player who's had a really good season, you could have sold him. You know, so we need a left back, we need a right back, we need a centre back, we need a centre midfield, and we need a striker. I think we're good everywhere else. I think I really do. And Ahmad, I thought, was great. Great security from Ahmad today and great passing.
I think Santos is the starter, based on Rob's question at the moment. When Mainu comes back, maybe there's a different situation.
Yeah, you need to give the players coming back from the World Cup just time to get back into the groove, and you know they haven't had a break the way these other players have had, and it's great, Rob. You know, we finally got someone who if Mainu isn't playing, we're not going, oh my God, it's Santos. We're saying, great, it's Santos. So that's what's really nice. We didn't have that last season. As soon as a player went off, Casemiro after 60 minutes, who did we have? Baby Ugarte, you know, and we had players all over the pitch like that. That as soon as they left, we lost. We drew games or we lost games, you know. So the drop off is there isn't a drop off at the moment, and there are two players for each position.
Say to this comment that CR said any other club would sell Shaw to Saudi or Turkey, then if an offer came in, I'm sure Man United would take an offer for Luke Shaw. But I don't think there has been any offers for Luke Shaw. But no, there's actually a weird kind of thing happening, I think, in Turkish teams where they've got getting quite a few decent players into that league. And I think that it might be like they pay high salaries. They're in the Champions League.
The reason is this: you pay 15% tax in Turkey. That's all you pay for footballers. Here you pay 45%.
But say, just off topic, just one quick thing is
this dog is biting. You do realise this dog is licking my ankles. He's going to start biting it soon, saying, "I need to go."
I was just going to say, maybe in a year or two's time, Turkey's going to replace Saudi. They pay big salaries, but they're in the Champions League. They pay, like I said, not much tax either, and they do get to then stay like a reasonably high profile for decent teams. So maybe it's going to happen. But we better, I think, just take your dog out. And people watching the stream, big thanks to you. Bilal, big up to you, my friend. So, yeah, exactly. You get taxed for breathing in this country. But yeah, no, thank you, Isabella, and thanks everyone in the comments. We'll be live tomorrow. Until then, have a great rest of your day, and we will see you then.
Lots of love, everyone.